lots of space to plant.
And, I can't keep it together. Hey, what's up? You found us. My name is Art.
I'm Kendahl.
And we're here to talk about
Plants.
foundation plants.
Foundation plants.
What is a foundation plant?
Oh,
Do you hear the term thrown around?
Yes. So it was a term that first came into use around 1915 to, a long time,
Yeah.
a very long time ago, to kind of break
It's
up.
like the law Olmsted time.
It was to kind of soften, to kind of transition from the lawn area to the structure
So
itself.
it's referring to the foundation of the house, of the structure, not the foundation of the landscape.
Correct.
Because you could say a tree would be a foundation plant for a landscape.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, it's right up at the base, a few feet off the house, because they want to be planted away for the airflow around the house. You don't want too much moisture or anything, and right up at the base of the house. But it was a kind of transition from the lawn to the building. So kind of neat, kind of interesting, and that term has stuck around, and we still love it, and we still plant our foundations today.
Let's look at some pictures and we can talk about
Okay.
what you see good and bad that they've done
Okay.
as we look through them.
Okay.
I picked one that I think you're going to love.
I love this. These are good choices for foundation plantings, and they're very well maintained. Nothing's overgrown. I don't feel like I'm going to be, squeezing myself up the front steps.
And they won't get overgrown.
No, beautiful.
I mean, they will need to be pruned if they want to keep them in that shape.
Sure.
They won't naturally grow.
Sure.
I'm talking about the hollies in the back.
It's easy when plants get large and they're a little too big and it's disproportionate to the house. It kind of dwarfs the house sometimes.
Right.
But not this one. This one presents the house very nicely.
I think it's interesting on the porch. One could argue that the hanging ferns do the same function
Yes.
of softening the transition from the yard to the house.
They do. They're serving a good purpose.
That's around the corner.
Perfect. Well
So
done.
you see the different use of the rose and
Oh yeah. Looks like lantana. Beautiful. Very lovely. It does kind of look like a little drift rose in there, but this, I like the curves. I really like that a lot. It's very easy to go straight
Right.
line across the
Sure.
front of a house, but okay. That's kind of minimal.
So this is what we're talking about.
There's straight lines right there. Lots of space to plant.
And I can't keep it together. The aggressive pruning on the one far corner. And
Okay, so it's a clean, simple look, Art. It's very clean and simple, but there's a lot of room.
then they said, when they got to the other side of the entrance, we'll just go with some rocks.
Let's just go with rocks. Oh my goodness. So this one probably started out
They
with
had great plans.
great intentions, and it just got a
I sympathize.
a little out of hand. Yeah.
They moved away. They got a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's no gutter garden.
So foundation plants here,
With the classic ivy going up
up the
lamp
pole. But there's plenty of room. I mean, there's a lot of room to do some curves in here.
Yeah, a lot of potential. Wouldn't you like
I would.
one of our friends to get that job?
I certainly would. Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. Well, what do you think about this one? Sky pencils.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see what the idea was.
I like the use of the sky pencils there, but the other plants have now dwarfed the house. They've
Yeah, and it's really lopsided.
outgrown their potential.
And
Yes.
part of it is, they said we're going to put a basket. What do you call that? A window planting.
Yes.
You think, oh, won't that be nice?
Yes.
But you don't think, oh, I'm going to have to do this forever now.
Right. Long-term maintenance to it. This is. I mean, I love the plants that they've selected for the yard, but I think that these are a little too large growing to be up at their house. And it's easy to do because when you go shopping in garden centers, they're sweet and cute, and then they
that's
grow.
why you hope that when you hire a professional,
Right. Yeah.
that they would know.
Yeah.
There's no objection to this.
It fits, and they're getting ready to mulch too because there's.
They should get the weeds out first.
The mulch fairy has dropped off a bag
That's
of
right.
mulch.
So you took a picture of, and you were really looking at the balcony, and I didn't even notice it. You know, it's an interesting architecture. It looks very new. I wonder if that's really going to look dated in a few years, if we're going to look back and be like, what were they doing?
It's a couple of interesting things going on because it's beautiful stonework there.
Right.
So we've put plants up against the stonework, which is lovely, but yet we're not hiding the utility
window.
box. There's a giant utility box right there too, and we just said,
Well, also the tree is right in front of it. It looks like a window.
it does.
So I don't know if that was
I don't know.
smart to do or
And
not.
this is a new apartment complex, new planting, and
Yeah,
we're
already.
pruning the plants that are there. So, but I love the grass. I think that's a lovely situation
Yeah,
right
it's pretty
there in
cool.
front. Yeah. Oh
Now, I
man.
think this is the last one. I mean,
Okay. So
I asked you to find creative
yes,
ways that people are doing foundation plants.
That's-
thinking,
that wins.
because normally when you see creative, you're like, you shouldn't have tried. Mm-hmm. Just stick to the tried and true.
Right.
But this is kind of cool.
I think it's very interesting. It's different. It's fun. It's very modern.
Very unique.
I love it very much.
Well, we would love to see your foundation plants.
We
if
would.
you see something that's unique, like, wow, that was clever,
Yes,
we really would love to know about it.
we really would.
Because we have people that we talk to all the time that are doing foundation plants.
Yes.
Our customers, every day, they're planting foundation plants.
Yes.
And we're growing foundation plants. Plants, I mean, of course, they can be used in many different
Sure.
ways. But any creativity is really welcome.
Oh.
Sometimes it's not going to work. But
No.
who's pushing the envelope on it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's some amazing landscapes out there. Oh yes, and we'll send you a T-shirt.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
This is a new film that we released like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It's a girl in New York who's kind of famous on Instagram, I think.
Okay.
Called The Apartment Botanist.
Wonderful.
So let's take a look.
I'm Alessia Aresta. I am the creator and the plant mom behind the account Apartment Botanist. I live here in New York City on the Upper West Side. I am originally from Brooklyn and I collect over 200 plants in my New York City space. I think I became the most interested in plants when I started working from home. I started my own business and I realized that I wasn't going out as much. I wasn't like having that time to, take that walk in the park and kind of just relax and zen. And I always liked plants. I always liked keeping them. But I just had a few and I decided that I wanted to start collecting more and start understanding what plants I actually had in my space. So not just a cacti, not just a succulent, or really understand where this plant's from, what its natural habitats were. So I started gaining interest that way and started wanting to collect more and really occupy the space and make it feel homier and more alive in a sense. I would say I really started Apartment Botanist when I decided I wanted to start introducing rare plants into my space. I kind of thought to myself, I was like, okay, I'm working from home. I'm, kind of pouring all this time and energy into starting a business. And I wanted to research what made a plant rare. And wouldn't it be really funny and interesting to try to keep these rare plants in my New York City apartment? What is that going to look like? And kind of the interest of documenting that journey. I started finding out what was rare or what was hard to come by, and Apartment Botanist kind of just came into fruition, kind of just sprouted up.
Time for the show where we pick a tool and decide if it's worthy of going on the wall or not.
Okay.
So for foundation.
For foundation, we were going to go with one of our absolute favorite books, and this is the Manual of Woody Landscape Plants by Michael Dirk.
I would say that's pretty foundational.
It is. It is. This is the
In
foundation.
our profession,
it is.
that's the go-to resource.
It is, indeed.
To find out. It's kind of the Bible.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote on that right now.
All right, but tuck it under there.
I'm gonna tuck it under here.
Now let's look at some plants.
This is an amazing plant. This is a Wheeler's Dwarf Pittosporum, and it maintains a really tight, almost a really nice Asian look in the sculpted look in the landscape.
Now all Pittosporums do somewhat the same. This one is tighter.
Very, extremely tight, slow growing habit. The flowers smell extremely fragrant, like citrus blossoms.
Some people don't like it.
No, don't like the plant?
Don't like the smell.
What? My goodness gracious. I love it. This is just a wonderful plant because of his rate of growth, and it's so clean and tight. Good, really good foundation plant. Considered a dwarf of the
Okay,
Pittosporum.
again, how tall will it get?
On
4?
average, about 2.5, 3 foot tall.
That's it.
A good about 3.5, 4 foot wide. Yes, very excellent plant. And
So if you've got
in
a
sun or
6,
shade.
if the window goes up to 6 foot, this is not what you want in front of that.
No, we would select something else. In fact, if our window went up to about 6 foot, Art, we would
The
consider
Hugendorn Holly
would
would be a
consider him.
great option for that.
for a 6 foot window. This
It's going to be much looser, but in terms of ilex, crenata,
yes,
this would not need as much pruning
correct. And
as
I
a lot of them.
purposely chose this one because this one was looser. We do stage pruning here at the farm, so I chose this one just to give you that look of this is
Correct.
You don't
It's
have
what it will naturally
correct.
grow to
You
be. look
don't
like.
have to prune it, but you certainly could. This one takes pruning very nicely, but what a great plant! In fact, this is
So nice.
honestly one of my favorite of the Japanese hollies. I love Hugendorn holly.
Absolutely. Next week, we're going to look at overrated and underrated. I mean, this may make another appearance of saying it's an underrated shrub.
Tough guy. It's a very tough guy. It holds up really well in landscape,
I would pick this over any boxwood.
even in
personally.
dry conditions. This is a really good, really great ilex crenata.
Hugendorn Holly. Plus, the name is fun to say.
Yes, it is.
But speaking of boxwood,
There you go. So this is a little variety of boxwood called Green Gem boxwood. Evergreen boxwoods, of course, they have a good reputation and a little bit of a bad reputation. We'll start with the good.
right?
They're very drought tolerant. They're
Yes.
so tough, and I feel like that's why they've just been used so much over the years. They're evergreen. They keep their foliage year round.
Yeah. Get a bronzy look.
In the
in
winter
winter.
time,
It's very attractive.
they do. I love boxwood. This particular one is a slow-growing one. So Green Gem is nice because I'm not going to feel like I'm going to have to go out there every few weeks in the summer and prune on him. I think he's going
Right.
to be a well-behaved plant as a foundation. I like him.
It's classy.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you live in a colonial area,
Yes.
I mean, even, yeah, and it can go great parts of the United States. I mean,
Yes.
a lot.
yes.
Pretty cold hardy.
Yes, and
Up into
as you're
Canada.
grabbing there, so
Yeah, I'm looking.
We
it's
feel
saying-
like we can shear these, but you could actually reduce the size of a plant pretty darn nicely with just selectively going into the plant and really taking that size down. And you can kind of hide those cuts, so we can reduce the size of the plant,
Right.
keep them small without that sheared look. Good, well-behaved plant as a foundation.
I mean, when you prune it aggressively,
Oh yeah.
it's not going to end up being like, it's
Correct.
toast.
And there's nothing wrong with pruning for aesthetics, for shaping, if we go into it first and cut some holes in there to allow some light and air circulation within the plant, knowing that where we prune a
Right.
plant is where it's going to grow. So, yeah, really nice.
All right.
So many plants. So little time.
Well, I think that wraps it up. We saw a lot of cool plants, and next week we're going to talk about overrated and underrated.
Ooh, I can't wait. Let's do it
Let's
again.
do it.
Okay.
Check us out. Appreciate you.
Thanks for watching.
Take care.